Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you to panel session 3 of this groundbreaking event. My name is Prince Danveso. I'm a Ghanaian voiceover artist. As Tico said, I'm the host of the VO Playbook podcast. And tonight, I'm honored to guide this important conversation titled The Exchange, Building VO Communities Across Africa. Now, in this session, we're going to talk about what it means to build strong, sustainable, and structured VO communities across the continent. From mentorship to collaboration and impact, our panelists tonight are leading this charge in very powerful ways. Now, let me introduce them. First, we have Remy Olutimanye. He's from Nigeria. He's a voice director. He's a coach. He's the founder of the Voice Acting Africa community. He's a respected mentor in Nigeria's VO ecosystem. Welcome, Remy. Next, we have Jennifer Canary from Kenya. She's a seasoned voice artist, and she's the founder of the Voice Actors League of Africa. She has voice campaigned for major brands for, Safaricom, UNICEF, and Nivea. And then we have Bidemi Adedere from Nigeria. She's an audio industry leader. She's the founder of the Association of the African Podcasters and Voice Artists. She's also the founder of the annual Podcast and Voice Awards. Finally, we have Tope Kolade, T-Code. He's a multi-talented voiceover creative, known for raising the bar in voice performance and mentoring across West Africa. He's the founder of Voiceverse Nigeria, and he's also the host of Everything Voiceover podcast. And I must say, I'm honored to be on the same platform with you guys. When I saw the list of the panelists, I was like, oh, I'm not worthy to even tie the list of their shoes. But yeah, you guys are trailblazers in the African voiceover space, and I'm honored to be here with you. Thank you very much. Tico, I'd like to take off with you. Let's start with this foundational question. What makes a healthy VO community?
I think I didn't see that coming. Oh Lord, what makes a healthy VO community? I think the first thing for a good VO community is a community that makes you feel you are part of something big and you are not small. You could be in a community that makes you feel you are small, in something big, and you could be in a community that makes you feel like you're big, but nothing much is happening. But a balance
Yeah,
of both is really important. Now, that's the first thing. Secondly, is that a community that provides support and resources. I
yeah,
think communities that thrive are the ones that people have something to learn, and they have other people's experiences to learn from. Uh, it's not enough to be in a community that is just there, right? So I think these are the things that makes communities very good. They are resourceful. I want to be in a place where I feel like I am seen, I am heard, and I can hear others. And I think
exactly.
these are just the things I could just think of from the top of my head.
Amazing, amazing. Jennifer, does that reflect what you've seen in Kenya? Hello, Jennifer, are you there?
Yes, having issues here, but I'm on and I'm here.
Okay.
Yes, and yes, piggybacking on that, what Tolu said, that is exactly what we're seeing in Kenya. Vala began very, very humbly, the Voice Actors League of Kenya, began really as a place where people would feel that they were not alone because it was
Okay.
difficult doing business. Especially regarding payments. And like has been said on this platform, as creatives, we were not going into the marketplace as business people. So we were getting exploited and we were battling alone. And so one of the main things that happened was we created a rate card And because the community was beginning to come together in one space, we could begin to teach people about the structures that help business be easier.
Okay. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Jennifer. Remy, want to add anything to that?
Yes, hi, friends. I'd actually been itching to meet you, and I'm so happy it happened here in public,
Yes.
full transparency.
It's an honor to be here with you, sir.
So, let me put it this way. Um, One of the things that we tend to overlook when it comes to the term community is commune. That's also the same root word that we get the word communication from. And as such, um, it is by communicating that we add to ourselves. It is by communicating that we add to the experience of our lives from moment to moment. Just to, as a raw personal example right now, who Prince Dan Vessel was 10 minutes ago is not who Prince Dan Vessel is now because of the things that you have learned. Yes. So I believe that that itself is the heart of community. It's also meant to be a place of safety, because the thing that tends to silence the best of us is this question going to be stupid?
Uh, exactly.
And the in the communities, I mean, I invite stupid questions because it's not you need everybody to agree that it's stupid. You can't just sit on your own and decide that it's stupid, and more often than not, that stupid question is the same question like 300 people had, but they were afraid to ask. So, community, we have the courage, somebody has the courage to step forward and ask that stupid question. And the answers that they get solve so many problems. I'll give you just one very common stupid question. So, should I tell them how much they should pay me? Or yeah, you're laughing. Right?
Exactly.
Real, this is the real question that people were so scared to ask because they were worried they would look stupid. I
Yeah.
was like, you have a red card? No. I said, okay. Um, this is how you do it. And from there, people became more educated and the community got stronger because of that,
Yeah.
more confident because of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my addition.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Remy. Thank you. So, Bidemi, you've built a continent-wide platform. What has been your biggest win and perhaps your biggest challenge in building a VO platform or community?
Okay, so Bidemi is not around. I know you weren't expecting my voice next, but she wasn't able
Ah,
to
okay.
wasn't able to make it. So I would wonder if you would like to redirect the question to someone else, or if you still want it from an ABVA perspective, I just might be able to share some insights. So it depends on.
Okay, tickle your own. So you please
Okay,
you can answer that for me.
so could you take the question again?
So what has been your biggest win and challenge in building a VO platform or community?
Hmm. Those are two questions in one: wins and challenges.
And challenges, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to start with win. Wins are knowing that people are being genuinely impacted, and seeing true growth. Now, growth might not be the exact way we see it because the trajectory of growth in voiceover can be unassuming. You might be, still growing for about 2 years and you're not there yet the way you think being there yet should be. But in that space of
Yeah,
time, you've learned a lot about the business. You've learned a lot about, what makes people stay longer in this business because you've been there learning silently, low key, and when you're ripe enough, you grow that much. So I
yeah,
think seeing that people know what to do, know how to engage with clients, if you have community meetings, for instance, the kind of intelligent conversations that are being held about voiceover, those are the
Yeah.
metrics for wins for me, right? The average intelligence of a community when they can sustain certain conversations about voiceover, I consider that win.
Yeah.
And also, getting booked for jobs, that also should be considered win.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
For challenges, I think there's a lot of the challenges are usually back end challenges as far as I'm concerned because it takes a lot to serve a community. Community is about service first of all. So if you're in the leadership of a community, you have to do a lot of sacrificing. You would
Yeah.
sacrifice your time most especially because every now and then somebody has something, a question to ask, needs a resources, needs an answer. Sometimes they take it out of the community, they come straight into your DM and you just have to serve them. So that
Yeah.
is a challenge, but it's also a good challenge because it shows that your community is serving. If people don't feel like they can get answers from the community, they would opt out. They would rather not ask. They will go somewhere else. So that also
Yeah.
is a sign that you're doing something right. So I think it's a blessing, maybe a curse in a way, but you have to then figure out how to manage it. Raising people that are, strong and mature enough, or if you're lucky, you have other mature minds in the voiceover space that are in your community. They'll go a long way in helping to administer service and resources and answers to questions that persist in the voiceover community. And by the way, I just want to mention the perspective of community that I'm sharing is more of a community based on people who are trying to grow the business. Voiceover communities can be in different natures. You could have, for instance, an association, which is still also a community. You can have an
Yeah.
alumni body, which is also a community. But I'm talking about an open community for voiceover artists, like we've built at Voiceverse and also at APVA. That's the Association of African Podcasters and Voice Artists. So I'm just gonna
Yeah.
stop there. I hope I made
Okay.
some sense.
It's been very helpful. Yes, very helpful. Remy, you've mentored many voices. How has your journey been?
I'm going to do something very unorthodox. I'm going to borrow the questions that you asked because I think they give the best frame for it. All right, so you may blush, or you may blush. T-Code is one of my top 10 wins in my 23-year career.
Yeah.
One of my top 10 wins easily. I wouldn't even, you see, he's blushing. I
I'm
wouldn't
trying
even,
not to
it's not even
blush.
something.
No, 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 no. Let me
Thank you.
can I also chip
I'm
this
honored.
in? Can I
Oh, sure.
also chip this in?
Yes,
T
please.
Code was the one who inspired me to start the VO playbook. He also inspired me to form the Ghana Voice Actors community. So I owe a lot to him. Yeah. He's such an
So,
inspiration to me. Yeah.
Okay.
no,
Okay.
Yeah. So he's
Just
going to blush well today.
please pardon me. Please pardon me. Thank you so much for giving for acknowledging that. But I also want to transfer that to Remy, who started this, because Remy inspired me as well to start the voiceover podcast. Is one of my inspirations. Before I did the voiceover everything voiceovers podcast, Remy had started a podcast called the African Voice Directors Diary or something like that. And I listened to about 3 episodes of that. He also started the Voice Acting Africa community. So Remy has been an inspiration for a lot of us. Just want to chip that in. So thank you very much, Remy and
Remy, thank you very
friends.
much, sir. Thank you. Thank
no, no,
you.
it's true. The way I look at it is that the fire that I shared with Tolu wasn't wasted. Yes. Um,
Yeah.
so the thing is that when it comes to my experience in this work, uh, um, there are usually things that would test you, and depending on where your mind is, depending on where your focus is. So I'm first and foremost an intellectual. I look for this. I look for what works, what has proven to work, and see how I can add my signature on it. Um, the challenge, one of the challenges that I come across, not with me, but with voice overs and voice actors who are coming up, is the lack of confidence.
Yeah.
So I've learned one of the things I've learned is that the glue of community is a story that is told about the community to the community. So I remind people of the stories that they have and use those stories to arm themselves.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about telling a story and going out there to try and slap somebody in uniform and say that you represent the new colonial no, 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 not that, not that. But the very best performances that we have, the very best performances that we have come from the stories that we have, that we hold inside. The other challenge, which is personal, is making sure that you keep putting out things of quality. As in, you just have to. And I'm I'm grateful to uh, to be the first African to be ranked number one for animation voiceover by Sopas, and the first African to be ranked number one for audiobooks by Sopas.
Wow.
So it's very easy to just sit back and say, well, you can just, you know how to do this work, you know how to, but
Yes. Yeah.
you need, it's not just by leading by example, you have to be the example and trust that you are visible and articulate enough to be followed. But I promise you, everybody that I met in my community, outside of my community, between different communities, for the fact that you are interested in voiceover, for the fact that you're interested in voice act, I'm on your side already. I'm already on your side. I'm already on your side. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Jennifer, let me come to you. How does community affect sustainability for African voice artists? Not just for now, but long term.
Okay.
Hello, Jennifer, are you there?
Jennifer, please remind your challenges who you are so that they will step aside and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that we'll enjoy you. Well, I think she's probably having some technical issues, but is it
Okay,
okay
okay.
if I take
Yes,
the
please.
question? But
Yes, yes,
just
yes, you
repeat,
can.
repeat the question for me, please.
So, how does community affect sustainability for African voice artists now and in the long term?
Okay, excellent.
Yeah,
So I think the first thing is understanding the place of development when it comes to the work that we do.
yeah,
When I say development, I'm talking about infrastructure. And when I say infrastructure, I'm not talking about physical structures. I'm talking about ethics. I'm talking about an understanding or a philosophy towards what it is that we do.
yeah,
This is the sort of thing that curbs underpricing. It helps establish what is a basic standard that is acceptable. You know,
yeah.
for lack of a bigger, more complicated word, quality control. And that
Mm,
starts with a sense of professionalism with the voice actor, with the voice over.
yeah.
Now, when you come across 3, 4, 7, 12, 20 instances of pushback on a move or a decision that's going to drop the quality, you come to understand, okay, this is the standard. I've been doing rescue work for bad work since, wow, yeah, about 18 years.
Wow,
I rescued bad work last month.
wow.
Yeah, because people would come and they think, okay, I have a nice sounding voice. And they go for it. No training, no direction. No, as in it was just it was I couldn't help but burst out laughing. I was like, wow, 18 years after, this is still happening,
Oh,
you know. Sustainability only happens because we have chosen to sustain something. And we need to also understand when we say sustainable, in mentally speaking, most of us are thinking subsistence. It's not subsistence. It's sustainability. It's not okay, let's just see how we can make it past this month to next month. Let's just see how we can make it from this week to this. No. What is your 10-year vision? What standard are you willing to commit to, no matter what? Do you have the moral fiber, the moral courage to return money
hmm.
if they are asking you to, lower your standard? Because the thing is that what we do is an art, but it's also a business form. And to be frank, a lot of our clients don't realize that it's also a business form. And maybe it's just to carry paper and talk now.
I talk
And
now.
me too, I can do it.
It's,
Which popular line for my first 5, 7 years. At that time, I didn't have the courage to say, you should do it now. Why are you calling me? I have the courage now. But back then, I'll just be like, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't do it. That is where sustainability happens because it's your
yeah,
responsibility. It will never be the responsibility of the client.
yeah,
It will never be their responsibility. It's yours.
yeah,
It's yours. Yeah.
yeah. Thank
I
you
hope I
very
answered
much
your
for that.
question.
You did. You did clearly, very clearly, sir. Oh, thank you very much. Is Jennifer, are you back?
I think he's still trying to join.
She said, okay, okay. Tico, what's your take on this, please?
Okay, can you take the question again?
So we're talking about sustainability.
Yeah.
Yes, and we want to know how sustainability affects, African voice artists
Okay.
now and in the long term. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, Jennifer is joining again. Secondly, I'm trying to like analyze the question. Maybe I guess you're looking at it from how communities affect sustainability for African voice talent in Africa. Uh,
Exactly.
and if that's the case, I think it's a very good way to put it because I see communities are as the perhaps the lifeline of an industry. So I like to
Mhm.
look at the voiceover craft from an industry perspective.
Yeah.
You could come into the industry and to you it's just a talent, a hobby. And then you realize that you can actually make something out of it. And then you start
Mm.
to make some, money here and there from voiceover. And then you realize that it can really be a business. And then you begin to invest in it as a business. And
Yeah.
a few of us, a couple of us, that was our story until we decided to be full-time voiceover artists, like I am.
Mhm.
But the point is, for the business to be sustained, there has to be an ecosystem that considers structure, pricing, the
Mm.
negotiation, for instance, equipment. There's an ecosystem that makes this work. And what community does for us is that it sustains the mindset, the growth mindset, the conversations that will inspire development in the industry. For
Yeah.
instance, if we don't have associations, if we don't have this
Hmm.
pockets of communities here and there, we would
Yeah.
not be able to collaborate as well as we're doing. I mean, for instance, the last presentation we saw from Vala, it was because there was a community called Vala in existence that created the room for collaboration. And
Yeah.
that is going to inspire someone else, like we listen to Wakio. Okay, look at this. This is Africa Voice of a Day. This, in a way, is a pseudo community. Right. And these are the things that sustain the industry in the long run. Because if there are no coming together of talent, everybody lives in silos. Everybody has their ideas in their head, and they're kind of like dwarfed in their thoughts because you feel like, how will I change or bring the positive change in the industry that I want to see? But if we can come together, you have the skill, this person has that skill. It didn't take one person to do this Africa Voiceover Day. You are speaking, you're moderating. Remy is speaking, Jennifer is speaking. We've had other panelists, right? All of that is because we have communities sustaining the industry. So I believe that the more communities or the stronger communities we have, the more sustained our industry is going to be for the long run.
Thank you very much, Tico. Thank you. Thank you. Please, is Jennifer back? Jennifer?
Jennifer is here.
Okay.
Holding my breath. But enjoying, yeah, I managed to get back in. Having technical issues. I'm at the coast of Kenya. It's raining. And the internet, yeah, and the dogs, yes. Competition. But glad to be back, catching the conversation.
Okay. So this goes to you, Jennifer. What cross-regional collaborations are needed right now in Africa VO space? And what is stopping it from happening?
Wow. I think that question will be answered now with events like this. I mean, in terms of what are needed, I have often said that the Nigerians lead in vision with a lot of the quality that now flows back. We see it in the music, we see it in the productions, even in what was done for Africa Voiceover Day.
Yeah.
There's a level of excellence that they have in their creativity that we would borrow very much from. In fact, I would love to see that very humble Vala production given a touch of magic by the Nigerians. Not that we can't do it, but then it becomes a larger collaboration.
Yeah.
But then just also what was touched on earlier about the communities giving capacity to African production, so that we're not always looking for Africa voiceover jobs out there, but we are now creating our own productions. That I think is the future. And when we start collaborating, perhaps in the regions, so my challenge, as much as I'm looking to Nigeria, is closer to home. You know, how do I capture the Ugandans, the Somali, the Ethiopians, to talk more about East Africa, and enhance their voice capacity as it waters ours as Vala, so that it's really cross-border. And I'm getting a lot of nuggets just by being in this room, actually, in terms of how to do that. So yeah, that would be my 2 cents.
Nice one. Thank you very much, Remy. Remy, what's your take on this, please?
All right, so I'll use my I have 2 takes, one unofficial, one kind of official. The unofficial one is, Jennifer, what a clever way to just pass the ball to me. Say, you lead, you do it. No, nothing but love. Jennifer, I'm a member of Vala.
Yeah.
Jennifer inspired me to join Vala. Yeah. But the more official response is this. Very often, based on our capacities, we tend to assume roles that don't get things done. In 2008, I first got into animation. In 2010, I then got into voice directing. In 4 years later, I realized we didn't have voice actors. We had voiceovers, we didn't have voice actors. Then I started to push myself to find and teach and train voice actors. You see, if you follow that journey, it was all a case about recognizing a vacuum, understanding what needed to be filled, what that vacuum needs, and providing it. As in, like, if for anything at all, man is the only creature that commands his environment. The environment does not determine you, you determine your environment. And for every step that I took, I realized it was because I needed to provide service at a higher level than when I first came into the game. If someone is going to have a a, a cross regional production, they are going to need people who are familiar, who can provide a service higher than just somebody waiting for a job to come. They are looking for problem solvers. That is what they are looking for. They're looking for problem solvers. We are problem solvers, believe it or not. We are problem solvers. And I believe that the higher you dedicate yourself to levels of problem solving, the easier these sort of things become. As a voice director, I've gotten to a point where when I'm in a production, I insist that I be part of the production decision making process. And they're like, why? I say because you might be thinking, oh, I have this bright idea, and you are creating a problem.
Yeah.
You might be thinking, this is not possible. Meanwhile, there are at least 20 people who can make this thing easy. You know, the client doesn't step in our shoes. They just need our help. They just need our service. You know. So I would say that when it comes to making things like cross-regional productions happen, I think it's I think it's important that we represent ourselves as problem solvers to the producers. You know, it's very easy to look at things, maybe Netflix or any of the foreign, which is fine. But I'll say this, we are all hungry to do more. When we find, when we come across people in our surgeons who are hungry to do more in their own fields as producers.
Yeah.
So when we meet, when we meet, I think it is important that we then present ourselves as um, problem solvers, as opposed to people waiting for work to be ready so you can come and bring it to us. We need to think like producers.
Mm.
Yeah.
If you already have a microphone in front of you and you are editing, believe me, you're a producer already. Don't all that, I don't have a big office, I don't have a PA, I don't have a driver. If you are recording your voice and you are editing it, just at that bit, you are a producer. You are no longer a member of the audience waiting for when is the next episode of this series coming out? You are a producer, and you should think as such. Okay. Um, I am going to actively, we are in May right now. I'm going to actively look for opportunities and create something, make something happen by November. I'm saying it here in front of everybody.
Yeah.
I'm saying it here in front of everybody because as much as I'm hungry for success, I am actually hungry for success for the larger community. I think it will make a statement to people who assume such things are impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tico, do you want to say something?
Oh, no, no, no. It's just fascinating listening to you talk about these things.
Okay, so the I'll tell you if maybe three or four things that we have cross regionally, but it's not in the forefront, it's not really recognized. So we are familiar with the L and R substitution in the general Ugandan English. We also have that in Nigeria, especially from a particular state called Anambra. And it may sound, well, okay, fine, it's just a happy coincidence. No, usually these things reflect a similarity in how we think, possibly even in similarity in the kind of stories that we were told, that are told in our villages, in our cultures. I mean, if anything at all, we all share, most of us English Anglophone African countries, we all share Lord Lugard. Yes. Even I was surprised, like, wait, you mean that guy checked from Kenya and still troubled us in Nigeria? Wow. Wow. But we have so many. See, the my head is very full and excited because even this talk about cross-regional collaboration. These are things I've had visions and dreams about for about maybe 14, 15 years, But you don't want to say things that frighten people.
Yeah.
Like, I know that man is mad. Oh, I will be poor by the time he's finished doing what. Yeah. But the thing is that we share a common humanity,
Yeah.
and unlike the rest of the world, we are so very close to we are close to the soil. We are very close to the soil, and very much like the rest of humanity. The stories we tell are literally just reflections of the influences that we've had from great grandparents all the way down. So yeah, we have amazing stories. We have amazing stories. We have challenges with things like distribution, marketing, exposure. Um, the the stories that I've come across on this continent, the stories I've come across on this continent, moving stories, powerful stories. Um, I have I can use this platform to express this passion, this vision. In the 80s, between 1980 and I think 1986 or 87, I'm not sure which is correct. The Republic of Hungary, the country, a communist country, please note, communist, not Western. They produced a series of animated series called Hungarian Folk Tales. Hmm. Go on YouTube. It is one of the highest. They've not adjusted the animation for technology. It is still one of the highest viewed number of views for anything. Just look for it, Hungarian folktales. Most of us here are familiar with anime. I've taken off my glasses, so I'm serious. Most of us watch, Japanese animation. It doesn't occur to us that these people are speaking in their indigenous language. It just occurs to, oh yeah, they're speaking Japanese because it's different continents, different, but it is their indigenous language.
Yeah.
And I remember very early in the early years of voice acting Africa, there's a time that we got a script and I said, okay, you know what? Everybody pick a role and then interpret what the person is saying in your native language. They're like, are you sure it's going to? I said, just do it. Tico knows me. I've already solved, before I tell you to do something, I've already done the calculations in my head. I'm like, okay, yeah, this one. So I just do it,
Yeah.
just do it. Interestingly enough, we had an Asian from India. We had someone from India who was on that call, who was on that in that session. Everybody understood each other
Mm.
because the intent was present in the delivery. So yes, please, it's inevitable. I don't mind being the first on the queue.
Yeah.
I don't mind being the first on the queue. I'll be the first on the queue. I'll be the first on the queue. But yeah, as in like it's inevitable. It will just I'm aiming for
Yeah.
timeless.
Yeah.
I'm aiming for
Yeah.
timeless. Not, oh my goodness, this is what they did. No, I'm aiming for timeless. 40, 50, 80 years from now. They'll say, oh yes, the idea started when Prince that vessel was there was a session on the voice acting voiceover, Africa Voiceover Day, and he was speaking with Jennifer Canary, he was speaking with Tico, then he was speaking with Remy, and Remy said, okay, November that year. Like, and from then, that is what we know now. I don't need to be present. I just need those stories to make children's lives better.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thank
Thank
you for
you.
my rant too. But that November is a promise. It's still a promise. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Remy. I've learned so much from you today. So let's wrap up with this. So what's one thing we all must start doing now to grow stronger VO communities in Africa? One thing. So this will go around and that's it. Tico.
Okay, so one thing we must do to build stronger voiceover communities in Africa, wow, I think it starts with the heart for it. I think one of the reasons why the communities aren't that I wouldn't say they're not strong. We have strong communities. I just think that it takes a heart to sustain it because it's service at the end of the day. It's sacrifice. I've seen Remy do this for many years, right? And it's not for any paycheck at the end of the month. It just cares. I've seen Jennifer do this for many years, right? So for a community to stay long, we need people who have the heart for this work, not just for the work, but for the people. It's one thing for you to really care about your business, but it's another thing for you to have a vision for the people and be excited to see people grow. So the individuals are really what determines how far the community runs. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. There could be many other answers, but this one just sticks to my mind, and I think that's it.
Thank you very much, Tico. Jennifer.
Yeah. So echoing what Tolu has said, definitely the communities, what do you got? The administration needs to be tight, and that's one of the things that is challenging, like has been spoken about. But the advantage of the communities, like now with Vala, we've started a mentorship program so that we can work more closely with the talent and actually from those talent bring in people who create more hands to help the community move forward and more vision. Like this production that we did has inspired so many people because people who knew nothing about voiceover have produced something that's been shown on this platform.
Yeah.
And it speaks volumes about Africa and a connection to the continent. So yes, the intent has been birthed to reach out and start collaborating at a deeper level. That I think is going to come out of this Africa Voiceover Day. That's true. That's key. And then we must act on it. And so I'll be in touch with everybody to make sure that we don't drop the ball. But like I said, the intent has to start, and we desire it. And sitting on the think tank behind Africa Voiceover Day, that's one of the reasons that we have made sure this day has the kind of platform and amplification that it has. It's so that these collaborations can actually happen. So, yeah, the intent
Thank
has
you
been
very much. Thank you very much, Jennifer. So thank you all for your passion. I thank you all for your honesty today. And I thank you for the work you are doing to build voiceover communities in Africa that last. And thank you to the audience for sharing this moment with us. Let's keep connecting, let's keep collaborating, and let's keep creating. My name is Princeton Vessel. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the program.